Okay, hi. So welcome back today for the classes. So I think Amar, last classes we have gone through the request object, right? So how to send data or URL from the client side and how to collect the data, right? So we have checked with. So if we go back to previous slides, we can see like we have collected the URL data, right? So how to collect this the params data and how to collect the query data, right? Two things we have checked. So params data can be collected using request.params, right? And query data can be collected using request.query. So meantime, we saw headers, URLs, and methods, and all those things we have seen, right? So all those things we have gone through in the last class. Correct, Omar? Have you gone through these all? Amar? Hello? Can you able to hear me? Hello? Amar, can you able to hear me? Yeah, so have you gone through this all right? Or you have not gone through? You have gone through, right? Request and response object. Correct? No, we have gone through this all. Like how to collect data, like weight and quantity and all those things, right? So we have gone through. Okay. Okay. So we have gone through all these things and how to send response. That also we have gone through. Okay. Now next is like, see, we have gone through the data to collect from URL, like either the params data or the query data. So how to collect the request body data? So request body data, like as we know, like the post request or put request always takes the data in the body, right? So to collect that, we need request.body, but Express we have to bind because simply Express will not parse that body data. Parsing the request.params and query is easy for Express, but to parse request.body data, it has to bind with some methods. Okay, so that method is express.json. Okay, that method is express.json. So what we have to bind this to our express API. After binding this express.json, then express can get the body data. So I'll show you how we are sending the body data. We won't able to collect the body data and then we'll bind this to get the body data. Okay, so let's start our URL. So let's go for uh, okay, so here is the Node.js, right? So let's start with the fresh. Okay, focus Amar, okay, properly. Again, I'm trying to do this. Okay, so what we'll do first of all, we'll try to install Express, right? Express. So let's install the Express so that we can create a server. Okay, so Express has been created. So we have created one file called index.js. So let's just start the Express server. So we are just writing the express and then we are taking the reference of the express, all the features and methods. So for that I'm just writing app equal to express. Okay, and then I'm listening to the port, means starting the server at 3000, and I'm just writing the console in the callback function. Okay, so I'm just making it log. I just write started server in 3000, right? So that's it. So that I have doing it. Okay. So I think that's enough for us to start the server. So we are just doing node space index.js. So we'll just write node space index.js. So see, our server is started, right? So we have not written any queries or requests. So we'll just try to write our request now. So again, I'm breaking the server here down and I'm going to the this one. So we'll write the first API. So app dot post, because we have to get the body data, right? So body data only works on the post and the put request. Already we have discussed in the previous classes, right? So let's suppose I'm trying to get the let's suppose creating the book or creating the library, something like that, or creating the order, something like that we are trying to do. Okay, so let's write API slash product. I'm just writing. product uh, create. I'm just making, okay. So we are going to create a product. So in product, what and all things will be there? If you are going to create a product, okay, what and all things will be there? Oh my God. Okay, the things will be, name will be there, right? Name of the product will be there, and then description will be there, and price will be there, and category will be there. Okay, when it is created at date will be there, like when this product has been created, name, description, price, category, and I think this is much for creating the product. Okay, so all these data we are trying to get it from the client. Okay, like let's suppose we have a form, so we treat a postman as a form. So in postman, in a body, in postman we will pass all this data through body, and then we'll try to collect it here in the product. Okay, so let's create our request and response. Okay, and then let's write, so let's collect the data. So I'll just write request body data using req dot body, right? We already know using req dot body we can collect the body data which is passed from the client. So let's try to print console dot log. The body data is okay, request body. Okay, let's try to print, and let's try to send like rest dot send. So we are going to create means we have to give a status as 201, right? So dot send or dot JSON, anything is fine. We are just sending, and we are just telling like a message. So whenever we create any product, what will happen? One underscore ID will be attached to that, right? With a unique ID, it will go and store in the database. So that we want take care of now. Just we are sending the message as, because we are not going for any database connectivity, or we are not really storing the product in the database. So that is the reason just now, just we are taking the input and we are just sending like, okay, product has been created. Product has been created successfully. Okay, so that is the one message we'll show. So any person who is trying to call this API and passing the request body will try to verify whether request body is coming or not. After request body will come, we are not writing anything. So basically here these lines of code should be calling database query to store product data in DB. Okay, so here should be the code, but now we don't have any access to the database. We have not studied database connection. We have not studied how the database call will be there by taking all this data from the client. So that's why I've just commented and written as it is. It's a comment. So whenever people try to call this API, they will just get response as product has been created successfully. Okay, so this is our main motto of, so basically our main motto is to whether we are able to capture all the body data which is passed through the client to this server or not, whether this the body data is a request body, we are printing here, so whether here the data will come or not. Okay, we have to verify. Got it? So this verification we have to do now. So let's restart the server. We have got one error, so oh okay, I have to just comment it out. Okay, I'll just clear it. Okay, so we are started with the server. Now let's try to call this API. So API will be, what will be the API? The API will be, the API URL will be http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000, right, slash API slash product slash create. So URL will be like this, API slash product slash create, and we have to pass the body as name, right? So we'll pass name in the postman. This I'm just showing you so that I can take this as a postman. Okay, so name I'll just write product one, and same way I'll just write name price. I'll write, so price as 200 or 2000, something like that, and then we'll write the description. So description will write as, this is product description. Okay, and same way we'll write category. category. So category will write as fashion as a category, means it's a cloth or some other product like having related to fashion. Okay, and then we will have created at if you want to pass like pass, or else by default it will take in the database, so that is not a problem. So as of now just we are passing, no problem. So we are calling it today, so it's a 11 12, right? So this we are passing. So basically this data we are passing in body, and this is the URL we are trying to call from the postman. So let's try to open the postman. Okay, so the postman is here. Let it get open. So this is the postman, already you have seen, right, so many times. So I think now you have proper aware of the postman. So for that, let's create a new request. Okay, and let's copy that URL. Okay. Yes, yes, Samar. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yeah, correct, correct, correct. Yeah, okay. I'll take one day, one class for Postman. Okay, so next class I'll do it, because till now I have not started. Just understand, like I'm just creating. I'll definitely take the classes for this. Okay, so as of now, just understand, like, yeah, we are going to use this. So just copy this URL and try to paste it here. And already we know, like, we have the post API, right? We have the post API because we have only the post URL. Okay, the post URL. So this API basically we are calling. So basically client is calling and we are the server. This server. So how client will call this API and server will respond with all these things. Okay, so we are calling this and we'll go to body and we'll try to paste this data. So we are passing in the body, not in the URL. Okay, previously used to pass in the URL, like having colon or using some question mark, but now we are passing in the body, right? Script we are ignoring it, not a problem of all these things. Okay, so let's try to send this data. Okay, so let's save this. It's a create product, and let's try to send this. So we see here we are getting a response, that is okay, but 201 created. But let's see in the server what we have received. In the server we have not received. Okay, I think maybe we have to restart the server out. Okay, let me comment this out. Let me run once again. See, so you can see the body data is undefined because, see, as I told you, Express will not parse simply the body data as it is. So to parse, because see, now you are getting undefined, even though you are passing request.body from here, like this body data, but you are not able to get here data, right? You are not able to get the capturer. To capture it, what you have to do, you have to do one more what is that, binding the Express to JSON, like collect the JSON, because this is the JSON data, right? So I'm telling Express, okay, you Express, I'll configure you such a way that you have to capture the body data. So for that, what we'll do app.use. Okay, it's a one-time process. Okay, it's a middleware. I'll explain about this why I'm writing app.use later. So just I'm writing express.json. So once I bind this line, no, now nothing I'll do. I'll just restart the server, and now I'll try to send. So once I'll click on send, now if you see, you have received the body data. Got it in the server. So basically here you have received the body data. Previously we are not able to receive because we have not bind in the Express with JSON. We are not providing, like, okay, take the format of JSON data, right? But now once I binded this Express, because app is Express, so I'm telling, okay, bind with JSON. So accept the JSON data as well. Okay, so accept the JSON data as well. So that's why it's accepting the body data. Now we are able to collect the body data in the server. Now we can do anything with this body data, right? We can send it to database, or we can store into database. Understood, Amar? So how to collect body data in Express? Okay. So already we know, now we have already completed all the request data coming from the client. One with the colon, that is params data. One with the question mark, that is query data. We have collected last classes. Now today we have studied if anyone will pass body data, how we collect. Okay, let's suppose tomorrow, let's suppose the ID, something ID is going to pass. Let's suppose I'm just passing the ID 123. So this is ID 123, right? So it has to get collected. So this is collected by body, but this has to collected by params. So what I'll do, I'll just write create colon, let's suppose ID. I'm just writing it. So to collect this, what I'll write, let request params equal to request dot params. Already we know this. Okay, and then we'll check request dot params. So I'll just try to paste it here. So we can collect body data plus we can collect the params data. So once I'll send 123 also go as a ID and request dot body. So entire data also will go as a body data. Okay, so let's me clear it. So we can pass params and body data at once, or we can pass params, body, and query at once. No problem. Anything is fine. So all the three is fine. Based on your requirement of the API, we can just go for that. Okay. So now if I send, now see, you have got body data from here to here, right? And we have collected params data from here to here. That is the ID, right? So if I'll write colon in front of any of the requests, that means like it has to take some dynamic data. So whatever we pass after the create, like see here the create, after the create, whatever we pass in place of colon ID, that will be value as a 1 to 3. So that's why ID will become, it will map the ID with this value. So that's why you are seeing ID as 1 to 3. Okay, so this type of things will be helpful when you are going to update the product later. Okay, so that is the reason I'm telling. Now we have got all the things. Params also we have collected, body also we have collected, query also we have collected. Okay, so all the request data from the client has been collected in the server. So now we have just done the collection of the data, right? Now basically what we have to do, we have to take this data and we have to store into database, right? So database means we have to store it. For storing the database, what we are using? We are using MongoDB, right? So MongoDB. So before that, before writing any code, you have to install MongoDB. So MongoDB install in your system, Amar? Can you able to hear me? MongoDB is installed in your system. Software, MongoDB software. Postman install. Okay. So today you just install MongoDB. So how to install MongoDB? I'll just say you. Okay, in Windows, just go for MongoDB download center. For Windows, you have Windows, so you can go for MongoDB download center. Okay, so I think this is the one. So you can just go for a MongoDB download center. So you can see it's giving for me like it's for the Mac, but you can choose here. For you, default it will come as a window. Okay, not a problem. So window X. So you can just download MSI. I'll just copy and paste this to you. Okay. Where is that? Okay, I'll just paste it to the chat. Amar, can you copy this link to your any notepad or anywhere so that you can get it from here? I think it's opening directly here, right? Here you can just check with MSI. The package should be MSI, okay? Platform, you get the platform and then just open the URL and check what is happening for you in new tab. It's coming. So version will come whatever version current, and platform will come Windows for you. Windows 60, x64, something like that will come for you in the page, and you'll redirect to that page. It's fine. Shall I continue further? Okay, fine. So, so first of all, so we have to install MongoDB, right? So already I discussed, like to talk to MongoDB, there is a one library called Mongoose, right? So Mongoose is the library which will be between server and the, see, just now we have API in between client and the server, right? API, the waiter, right? So now we are going to discuss Mongoose library between database and server. Okay, so to talk to database, because see, directly from server we cannot talk to the database. There should be some piece of code, there should be some library so that we can talk. We can send our query to that library. That library will send to database, and then database will send the response to the library, and library will send to the server, and server will send to the client. Okay, so there should be Mongoose library. So we are going to use Mongoose library in our Node.js application. So we are binding Express.js and Mongoose library together. Okay, Manoj? Sorry, okay, Amar? Understood? So using Mongoose library, we can connect to the database from server and then we can talk to the database directly. So we can store data, we can get the data, we can fetch the data, we can delete the data from database, we can store the data, we can update the data to the database. So anything we can do, but that will be help from Mongoose library. Okay. So let's integrate the Mongoose library. Okay. So it's a very simple library. Okay. To talk to database. Okay. So what I'm telling, so MongoDB, so providing, so how it talks, like see, just now we defined, right? Product, we wanted to create a product. So product has the field, right? Field like name, category, and what is that? Price. So all those field, so how the data will store? So the data will store as two way. One is schema. Schema is nothing but it's a blueprint how the data will be stored in database. Blueprint in the sense means like see just now we saw here the blueprint, right? Blueprint means the product whatever I'm going to store in database that will have name, that will have price, that will have description, category, created at. So these many only fields should be there in the database that is defined. So this defining structure of the data is called as schema. Okay, schema is nothing but it's a defining how the structure of data to be stored in the database. Okay, so we have to create a schema first thing, and then based on schema we have to pass the actual data to the schema so that schema will take that data and then store to the database. Understood? What is schema and what is model? See, schema is nothing but it's a structure. Like see here name, price, description, category. So we can modify the structure. Like let's suppose one more category will be there. So one more things will be there like image, right? So image. So image will be the URL of image, right? So this all defining. Like let's suppose user here in your schema, if the defined parameters are name, price, description, and category. But from the UI, from the postman, if you are passing created an image, it will not accept. These two will not accept. These two will be ignored. Only these four will be gone to the database. Why schema is required means see someone can pass only name, someone can pass only price, someone can pass only description. So that's how what happened that the structure of database will get destroyed. So that is the reason to make one database very maintainable and very good structure like uniformity structure, we will want to define the schema. So that schema will tell like okay, these all things are required to create a product. Okay, these are only the fields are required to create. If you want pass this, you will get the error. If you pass extra field also, it will be ignored. Okay, so that is the work of schema. Understood, Amar? What is schema means? Schema is just a structure of data, how the data should go to the database. Okay, and all those will be handled to Mongoose. And then model. Model is nothing but binding that schema and database. Understood? So model it will take the actual data for that schema. Like see, this is the actual. Now I'll just tell name. Name should be type of string, right? The value of name should be string. The value of price should be number. The value of description should be string. The value of category should be string. Created at should be date. Image should be the URL or the string. So all those things will be defined in the schema because it's a structure. Now in the model, we will pass, okay, name as product 1, price as 2000, description as this. So actual value will be passed in the model. Okay, so model is nothing but it's actual data. So actual data passed to the name and this name through schema, it will go to the database. Understood? Through schema. So once I'll write the code and I'll execute one executing the schema and then storing on data, then you'll understand more properly. Okay. So understand model is a actual data binding to the schema and through schema it will go to the MongoDB. Okay. So these two are very important. Okay. So we have one methods or way to create a schema also, and we have one way to bind this model to the schema. Okay, actual data to the schema. Basically model is nothing but actual data to the schema. Understood? So that we are going to check. So before that, this is like a way of transferring the data from server to database, right? But before transferring the data, first we have to connect the database, right? So using Mongoose, we are going to connect the database first. So to connect the database, we are going to use Mongoose. So to include Mongoose, first we'll go to npm JS, right? And then we'll search with Mongoose. Already I have searched, that's why it came directly but we have to search with Mongoose. Now once we go to Mongoose library, it's telling okay npm I Mongoose. So we'll just try to copy this and we'll go to our this one and we'll just try to install the Mongoose first. Okay, that is the first step for integrating the Mongoose. So in my system already I have installed MongoDB. That is the reason now directly it will connect to our MongoDB. Okay, but in your system first you have to install your MongoDB. Okay, so let's go to this. So I have installed. Now what it's telling, it has lots of documentation and all those things, but here we can go. The first step is to install, so I have installed. Now second is to import. So just import this. So copy this and we'll just go to here. After this line, we are just trying to import. Okay, so we have imported to our index.js, or it's a main file of our server. So after importing, we are just telling, okay, connect mongoose.connect and then pass the URL. So by default, the URL is this. Okay, so mongoose.connect. So let's connect to this. So I'm just writing mongoose.connect and this is the URL of the MongoDB. So URL of MongoDB, it's a hard, okay, it's a defined, okay, predefined. So MongoDB : / So basically MongoDB works on this URL, right? 27017. This is a default of your system URL. Okay, so this is the default. So MongoDB worked on the port 27017. So everything has defined by one port, right, in the system. So basically MongoDB is defined by the port 27017. And 127.0.0.1 is nothing but it's a local host, means your system port. Okay, local port. So either you can write here localhost or you can write 127.0.0.1. So basically first parameter directly in connect we are writing the URL of the MongoDB and next will be your database name. So we are just going to write database name as test-amar-db. Okay, this is the database name. I'll show you where the database is. Okay, so this is the database name. So once I'll write .connect and .then. Why I'm writing .then, all those things I'll explain, because till now I have not done the promise classes, right? So after this we are going to do the promise classes. We have left, remember, I've just taught you the callback, but promise and async await I have left it previously because that time you could not able to understand properly, right? So now I will discuss regarding this. So what will happen? So once the database is connected, you will just get connected. So now if I start here and node index.js, now you will see it's telling connected, means my server is connected to the database. Okay, I have connected to server and plus I have connected to the database as well. Okay, and what is the database? Test-amar-db. So this is the database which I connected. Okay, so connection to the database is done. Like this we have to connect the database. In your system also you have to do all this method. So one is require of Mongoose, and using Mongoose.connect method is there where we are passing the URL of the MongoDB with database name included, and then then just writing one console callback function. Okay, just writing callback function console like connected. So we will get output as see. Once we start, it will say like started server at 3000 and then connected. It's like connected to the database. So both are ready. Now server and database has been connected. Now we can ask our query to the database. Okay, so any operation to the database is possible. So for that you have to write code. So this is the actual code for connecting the database. Okay, so let's go back to slides. Okay, so as I was discussing, now schema will be there, right? So here we have connected the database. So Mongoose is a asynchronous environment designed to work and application data. So see, either we can create a database.js or we can directly write in the index.js file. So this is the require for Mongoose and this is the connectivity for Mongoose, right? MongoDB. So we are connecting, trying to connect Mongoose with MongoDB database. So MongoDB : URL with port 27017. It's a default port for the MongoDB. Okay, and then database name. So test-db. So that is the database name. Okay, so we are connected to the database, this database I'm talking about. Okay, this database in your system. So once you install this MongoDB, this database will sit in your system. So now this only we are trying to connect from our server using Mongoose library. Understood? So that we have connected. So see, this is the connection we have done. Now connection to the database is done. In your system also you can try, but after installing the MongoDB, then only this all will work. Otherwise it won't connect. Okay, so that is one fine. Another, so schema design. So as I suggested, schema design is nothing but it's a defining the structure of the data. Like see, so how we can do? You can just go to the Mongoose like binding the mongoose, const mongoose, or you can write this line also, no problem. Okay, I've defined in the database here, that's why I'm writing this. But you can just write mongoose because schema also designed based on the mongoose only. So mongoose using schema, we can get the schema from the mongoose. And then if let's suppose I want to define the product schema, like I'm designing the structure for product. So product schema, I'll write product schema, new schema. You have to follow as it is, okay, as of now, new schema, and then you have to write name. So name. So first I'm just binded one. So what is the name? So name should be, you have to define all the features, all the metadata for the name. So name should be type string. It should be required because if someone is not passing the name, it should tell like, okay, you are not providing the name. So it's a required field, it's a type field, and then it's a telling true. So if true is there, if it is required, true. If someone is missed to pass, then it will just give the error as product name is required, something like that. Okay. Now trim. Trim is nothing but already we discussed in the string. Like let's suppose if someone is writing SAN DEEP double space, so that a space should get delete, right? So trim means true. So we are just deleting the extra space. Whenever the name comes from there, extra outer space will get trimmed. Okay. Now what is the total character length of the name? So someone should not write like some big lengthy name, 1,000 characters name. No, no, that should be the max length as 100. Okay, so only 100 characters are required to create a name. So maximum you can go for 100 characters. Okay, or else it will tell product name cannot exceed 100 characters. So these are the metadata while creating the name, right? So same way for name, for category, for price, you can just add it here. Okay, you can add it here. So let's try to do this for fresh. Okay, so see, already we have connected to the database. So we'll try to create a product schema. So we'll just create one product schema.js. Simply I'm writing the name as product schema. Okay, so here what we have to do, we have to just write const mongoose require mongoose. Okay, require mongoose. Now what I have to do, I have to just to get the schema out of it, right? Schema equal to mongoose. Okay, so we have got only the schema from the mongoose, and then we are trying to create a product. So I'm just writing let product schema. So while creating a schema, you can write a Pascal, means capital letter this and capital letter this. Okay, only for the schema. Okay, inside it. So just write this, and then we are just writing the new schema having the object. So in this object we are trying to write. Okay, so just we'll try to define one first. So in name, how the name should be there? So it should be type as string, right? It should be type as string, correct? And then it should be other way, which types are there? So I think it has to be written as a string. Okay, it's a class. Okay, and then required we have to write as true. That's it. I'm just writing now. So let's suppose you want to define other than name, like see in Postman we have name, price, description, category, right? So same way we are going to define here. So after name, if you want to define one more, then just define comma and then define price. So price we can go for, what is the structure should be price? So it should be type as number, right? It should be type as number, and it should also be require true. So you can see here it's a required true. It's a required, not require. Okay, so just let me change it. So it's a required. Okay, so both should be required. Now price is fine. Now if you are go to description, okay, description. So I'll just write type as string because it will take a string type, right? And then after that, what we are telling not to require, because why description is required? Only price and name is the required field. If someone won't pass the description, then by default we can give some of the description. If anyone will pass, that is also fine. Let's suppose you didn't pass the description. Okay, default. Then just write the default keyword and just write some description. Like this is the description of product. Okay, something like that we can write. Understood? So this is by default. So there is a default also, default key also. Okay, if no, if there is no required, you can write default. Means if someone doesn't pass the description, then by default the description should go as this to the database. Okay, so same way we can pass category. So category is nothing but it's a same type as string. Okay, type as string, and this is also a kind of not required, then just we can write default. Default as we can write default as fashion, something like that category we can define. Okay, so this is the structure which will define schema. Now this schema has which table it defines for. So any collection. So see, MongoDB, I have to discuss regarding the MongoDB also. Okay, so whenever we are going to MongoDB, I'll discuss more detail on this. So MongoDB has one database. Database will have one table. So table is nothing but collection. So we'll call as collection. So what we'll do? So we'll do module dot export, or we want to module export now. Just we'll try to do mongoose dot model. Okay, model. So binding the schema with the data. Sorry, the collection. So collection name should be products, comma, and which schema should bind? So it should be product schema. So this collection in the database bind with this structure. So this product schema is nothing but it's this structure. So only this structure is allowed. Okay, so like that we are telling. And if you want to use this later, then just write module dot export. Okay, so that it can be used. This actually this product schema can be used here, because after this what we can write, after connecting the database, what we can write? We can write here some require we can do for this schema, and we can create a database. So that I'll go long. Okay, but now your main motto is to understand the schema. So this is only the format you have to create the schema. Understood, Manoj? Sorry, understood, Amar? Like this we have to go through. So I'll provide you some long list of schema description documents where you can see, like if you want to pass the name stream, this one. But see, one more thing is there. Like let's suppose category is there, right? So category people can pass anything as of there now, as of they want, right? So let's suppose if you want to pass a specific, okay, if you want to pass, okay, I want to allow other than this value. See, so I want to allow other than this value mean that means being denoted by num. So num is the keyword where if you've defined here, like let's suppose I'm just defining fashion, okay, and I'm just defining festive, festival category, and I'm just defining women, okay, women category, I'm just defining men. So when someone will try to create a product, and if they pass as category from all this, then it will allow. If let's suppose people are not passing among this and people are passing the category value as different, then it won't allow. So that type of scenario means you have to pass like this way. Okay, enum. Enum is nothing but it's a binded data. It's a predefined some of the value which user has to pass by compulsory. Either they have to pass from among all this, or they don't have to pass. If they won't pass, by default fashion will go. If they will pass, then this one will go. If they will pass other than this value, then it won't allow. The data will not get stored. Okay, the data will not get stored. Understood? So this is enum. So like this, only so many properties are there for one this schema. Okay, so I'll share you all the properties. I'll talk in further classes. Okay, so for this one, what are the all properties are there? Like type is one property, required is one property, enum is one property, default is one property. So like this, so many properties will be there. Okay, for one schema structure. Okay, for one field. So like this I'll discuss later, but now just you have to understand, like we have to create a schema like this. Okay, so see mongoose.model, and this should be the table name, okay, collection name, and this should be the schema. So this schema bind to this collection name. Okay, so I'll describe like later after once I'll I think in next class I'll go for MongoDB. Okay, and then I'll discuss, because now I'm not feeling the correct time, because now just you have to understand how the schema somehow overview, because this type of things now will keep on coming in the further classes. Because you have to just talk to this only. Every time you have to create a schema, every time you have to create a database, every time you have to connect to the database, and you have to write the code for that, you have to query it. So it's like further all classes will be based on these all only. Okay, so slowly you will keep on understanding what is the things. Okay, understood? And now the using of that schema is this. So what we'll do, so product model. So we are getting create product schema. So basically this we are calling. So we have it exported, right? So exported means this page we can call here wherever we want to use. Now this page we are calling and then we are writing new product model based on this and we are providing actual data to the schema. So see in the schema the name was there right here. The name is there. So basically we are passing the name. So type as a string we have to pass. So that's why we are passing the name as Amar and in the string value. So this is the way we have to pass. And if I'll write product.save, so this is the code which saves the data to the database. That much only you have to do. Anything saving to the database, just write product.save. And anything defined in the structure, you have to write name, comma, description, like whatever the postman payload we are seeing, no? Postman payload, this all entirely will be passed here. Okay, this all entirely will be passed here. Got it? This all entirely will be passed here. So this is the way we can use the model we can use to, so model can be used for multiple purpose like using get API, for create, for update, for delete, everything can be used for model. So all the model methods are there. Okay. So all the methods we are going to see. So first is save. Save is for creating. Next is find. Find is for querying. Next is update. Update is for updating. Next is delete. Delete is for deleting. So all those methods will be keep on seeing in the future classes. Okay. So once we are really going to the database, then we can see. But now you have to just understand how the Mongoose model should be there. Okay. That's it. So next classes we are going to see CRUD. So CRUD API we are going to create. I'll just give you overview as of now. So we are just going to create a CRUD operation. So we are going to create, read, update, and delete. The the small project we are just doing. This is not the actual project. We are just creating the product. So this is the structure we are going to define, and this is the product we are going to use. So these are the code we are going to see in the next classes. Okay, and this will be the schema of the product. So we'll discuss again tomorrow. Okay, regarding this, like how the name, price, category is created, and how the things are. Okay, understood. So today our main motto of the class is understanding the request of body data. That is one thing we understood, how to get the body data, plus how to connect the Mongoose to our server, installing MongoDB in our system, and then running the server with the MongoDB, and then how to create a schema. So those all things we have understood today. Okay, briefly. So further classes again we'll go and check for furthermore. Okay, fine. Thank you.